I've literally tried to film this like a billion times, but I feel so silly talking in front of the camera this way, like hey. And like the other thing is like I know I need to be talking here, but like the screen is right here and like I've mentioned this a few times, but we're in the process of moving back to Arizona. We moved to Georgia about 3 years ago and we decided we want to move back to Arizona. My husband, his job is still out there. It's just better for him to just be back in the office. I'm not working right now. Why not move back? And I don't know, I just genuinely miss Arizona. Like I miss the sunshine. I miss that it's a much shorter flight to see my parents from out there as opposed to here. It's like a bazillion-hour flight to a non-bazillion-hour flight, and I hate flying, so that kind of works for me. Anyway, I say all this to say, we've been here for 3 years, and I thought it'd be cool to just share, like, what I'll miss, what I won't miss, and just, like, my observations or my own experiences since we've been out here. The first thing, obviously, I'm gonna miss is our family that's out here. We moved out here because we wanted to be closer to them. Harris and I, we got married March of 2022 and we started talking about like, oh, if we have kids, and I really like the idea of having like children and them playing in like naturally growing grass and like weather that's tolerable. So we're like, okay, let's do it. So then we moved out here. We live about an hour and a half north of where his family's at. And again, we probably could have moved closer to them, but with Harris's job and all of that stuff, it was just like, okay, let's just move back to Arizona. And I think, you know, having lived here now, there's a lot of great things about Georgia, but I think at the end we're just Arizona people. And I think one of the hard things about us moving out here too was I knew it was gonna be difficult to make friends out here, but I don't think I truly understood how difficult it would be to make like friends out here as you're older and without having kids. And I just felt like since we moved out here, I've been alone so much more, and it's like I'm used to being alone now. Obviously, I'm with Harris, but I don't know, like I miss having like my friends. I miss like going to farmers markets or going out to brunch. And don't get me wrong, I have like made a few friends out here, but the way, if you're familiar with Atlanta or Georgia in general, like everything is just so far apart, and even if it's not far apart, the traffic is insane. So even just like getting a bite to eat can be like this whole big event, and it's just like, I don't know, someone who struggles with like anxiety, OCD, like sometimes that's just like too much for me. I am doing a lot better though, I will say that. I'm also really gonna miss here the weather. I love the weather here. I'm not gonna miss the bugs in the summertime. I was never prepared for that. Don't fall in love with vacation spots because it is a lot different when you're here full time. I'm gonna miss the weather. I like the different seasons. I like that we have fall, we have kind of a winter. I love the leaves changing colors. And I'm generally going to miss our home so freaking much. We're on so much land and just, it's quiet, it's tucked away, and it's ours. Like I knew the moment we walked into this house, like this was my house. I fell so in love with it. We're on 2 acres. It's beautiful. Like, you know, this home was like built with such love and just care and attention. And after living in Arizona and just being a military child and always moving, I walked in and I was like, this feels like home to me. And, you know, we did so much to this home too. Like this closet, like this used to be a spare bedroom. We redid it so that we would have a master or primary closet and bath or whatever. And so like this is ours, and that's hard. And we redid the flooring, and we just, I don't know, we just added so many personal touches that were our own. And seeing Harris work in the yard with his little lawnmower, just gardening and things like that, I'm gonna miss that. It just feels so wholesome. And I guess that's the other thing I'm gonna miss about Georgia is that it genuinely does feel more of like a community out here. Like it is more family oriented, I'd say, or just people who are more mature and just ready to slow down. I do think that Arizona is way more materialistic. I feel like in Arizona, everyone's trying to be someone. And I know this isn't like for everyone. I don't know. I really like that's kind of like a slower pace of life, I guess. But yeah, I do feel like Arizona is way more materialistic, and it's always about like keeping up with the Joneses, whereas here it's like they put really strong values into like family and not just really, I'm gonna miss that. And I'm sure we're gonna find that in Arizona. We probably at the time weren't around those types of like communities and people, and there are some there, obviously, I hope. What I'm not gonna miss though, and this is more work specific, is nepotism out here is absolutely insane. Like, I said this on my TikTok, like it needs to be studied and like documentaries need to be like made. And I don't know, it's just, I've always worked in corporate. I thought I knew all the like politics, the ins and outs, things like that. But working here, the jobs that I've had, just absolutely insane and mind blowing. Like between conflict of interest, nepotism, just what they find is like acceptable behavior, acceptable speech. It's crazy. And like the things they're willing to just overlook. I don't know, like you watch these TV shows, you watch movies, and you're like, okay, that's all like dramatized or that's all exaggerated. But then to actually see some of that in person, you're like, oh crap, like this stuff really does happen. And I'm not naive enough, like I know it can be like really sketchy, but like, I don't know, it's just a different experience like living through it. So I'm really not gonna miss that. But the nepotism, man, that's just wild. Like I feel like you have to know someone in order to get any type of job or get your foot in the door or anything. And I know that's kind of the same everywhere, but like here it's just truly like crazy. It's like an unreal world, like the expectations and just, so I'll say Arizona is like more materialistic, where I feel like out here it's more superficial, if that makes sense. And kind of going with that theme is that I think people here genuinely love to be offended or being passive aggressive. So Harris, when we were moving out here, or just when we'd come out to the South to visit, he would always kind of warn me like, Harrell, you got to be a little more mindful of what you're saying. And I always kind of like wondered about this because Harris is always very cautious with what he's saying and how he says it and who he says things to. And I'm like, why are you like that? And then I come out here full time and I finally get it, is that, like, for example, I'm totally making this up. You could be like, oh, I got a promotion. And it's like, well, why would you say that? Like, what if so-and-so didn't get a promotion, or they're having a hard time at work? Like, why are you gonna, like, you think you're better than others? And it's like, holy crap. Like, no, I'm just very, okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna just keep that to myself. And I think that one for me personally has been a very hard pill for me to swallow. It's something I'm super insecure about because, and just like a really hard lesson for me to learn, because I'm very open. My intent is always to be kind. I'm very direct, I think. Like, I'm always very direct. I say what's on my mind. And I have a hard time with people who genuinely like to be offended or just always want to have something to gossip or talk about. So it's very hard when I feel like I'm being attacked, like, oh, Ariel, you need to watch what you're saying. Like, you can't say that. You need to be more mindful. And it's like, can I not say anything? Like, I'm always like offending or upsetting someone. And I know the whole point is like you have to be able to meet them in the middle. But it's like, yeah, that should go both ways. But there comes a moment where you have to realize like, okay, that person's not going to give, and this situation's going to continue being the same thing. So you're going to have to be the bigger person. You're going to have to, and I think that's a lesson that took me a really long time to get. It's like my ego and my pride would be like, no, like they're being an ass, and like they know they're being an ass, they know they're taking it this way. But I don't know. Personally, there's definitely been a lot of highs and lows the past 3 years. A lot of great things, a lot of hard things, but I do genuinely feel like I needed these past 3 years and the experiences I had to like break me out of my shell for me to feel like, okay, I've got this. Like, I got uncomfortable. I was forced to be uncomfortable. And from that, I feel like I'm just more equipped to handle the world and just myself and my own like mental health and everything. I feel like in Arizona, I felt more like in a box. Like, I felt more anxious, and then coming out here and being forced to like have these long commutes to work, have these long commutes to see family, have these long commutes to like go to a restaurant or a store, made me like, I had to get out of my comfort zone. I had to go do things I wouldn't normally do. And I feel like I've grown so freaking much with that. I think also being put on Zoloft definitely helped, and finding a really great therapist. But I am grateful for those experiences. I'm grateful for the different personalities I met. I just feel so much more equipped to like deal with others and myself. But I'm really excited to be back in Arizona. I'm excited to go back with like this newer version of me and my growth, and just at this point I know like if I'm not happy there, like then it's me. Like it's not the place, like it's me. I'm also like trying not to spiral right now, because even as I talk about all these things and talk about all the things I'm excited about when I go back to Arizona, it's like, wait, you didn't do those things here. Like, are you going to do those things there? Like, what's holding you back now? Nothing's holding. Anyways, that's like my OCD brain, but I just want to be very real with like, this is how I work and this is how my brain works. And it's just like, I don't know, those are the struggles I deal with. But anyways, that's not what this video is about. It's about like my experience with Georgia. There's a lot I'm gonna miss. There's a lot I'm gonna not miss. I think though, in a nutshell, working a corporate out here definitely was not good for my mental health. But I definitely grew a lot. I've got new skills and I feel a lot more equipped to just deal with myself and others. And it's crazy. It's just so insane just how much work can impact your mental health and just the people you surround yourself. And I know that's so silly, everyone knows that, but just work, because work is one of those things where you have to be at work, you have to provide an income to like support yourself and your family. I don't want to make this all about work, but I think work played a huge part in my Georgia experience, and just what different beast, that's all I'm gonna say. But if you made it to the end, thank you. I know I was like rambling, but I'm glad we got to catch up, and glad you were interested in hearing about my Georgia experience and the things I'm gonna miss and not miss. Okay, bye.